this week. This week, our topic is Semper Paratus, always ready is the Coast Guard motto, lessons from the U.S. Coast Guard. And the reason we're choosing this topic is because we had 3 Salute to Excellence winners for Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod this year and 1 for last year. And we kind of want to know what's the secret to their success. So let me share my screen here and we'll go ahead and get started. Our speakers today are Captain Rob Potter, Commanding Officer of the U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. We have Commander Brian Cuddley, who is the Deputy Executive Officer for Air Station Cape Cod. He is accepting the Salute to Excellence Award for Safety on behalf of their safety department. We have Lieutenant Commander Travis Christie, who is the HAI Salute to Excellence Pilot of the Year. And we have Petty Officer Andrew Champagne, who is the inaugural Land and Live Award winner for HAI as well. Normally these webinars are interactive. Today we are watching recordings. So if you do have questions you'd like me to refer to the Coast Guard, any member that's participating today, please send an email to me at dan.sweet@rotor.org and I will do my best to get a response for you. As always, our webinars are being recorded and we will try to get these postings up as fast as we possibly can. So now let's sit back and we will watch the recordings of my interviews with the members of Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. Would love to have had them live, but unfortunately we could not coordinate all these different schedules because of their schedule. Helicopter Association International has been presenting our Salute to Excellence Awards for many, many, many years. And our Salute to Excellence recipients come from all over the world, and apparently they come from Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. In the last 2 years, HAI has honored 4 different personnel from Air Station Cape Cod with awards, 1 last year and 3 this year. And today we're going to visit with the recipients of this year's awards, but I want to get started with the Commanding Officer of Air Station Cape Cod to get his take on the achievements of the personnel there. Please welcome Captain Rob Potter, Commanding Officer of Air Station Cape Cod. Welcome, sir.
Hi, good morning, Dan. It's good to have you. And thank you for having me this morning.
Certainly appreciate your time. So let's get started by learning a little bit more about your operation. What is the mission of Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod and what resources do you use to conduct those missions?
Sure. So we are the sole aviation unit here in D1. So when I say the Coast Guard is divided up into districts where we have all our different areas of responsibility. So when I say D1, that means that from the most part, from New York City all the way up to the Canadian border, we cover all of the air assets in that entire area. So we are really the only show in town or game in town for this area, for all of New England. So the way that we do that is we are staffed with a wonderful group of over roughly 180 people, and we have 3 H-60s, 3 H-60 helicopters, and 3 HC-144 fixed-wing aircraft.
Okay.
And the missions that we'll do will range anything. It's any of the Coast Guard missions that we have. Search and rescue, pollution response, we'll provide air cover for that, medevacs, even we'll do ice patrols up in the northern Atlantic to trash icebergs.
Well, that's a pretty amazing range of operations there. And you seem to have assembled a particularly noteworthy group of crew members there at Cape Cod. Is this a unique team or is this reflective of air stations across the Coast Guard?
So being the commanding officer, of course, I'm biased. I like to think that my team is the best. But you know, the truth of it is I think that speaks really for Coast Guard aviation in general. We all move roughly anywhere from every 3 to 4 years from air station to air station. So this mix of folks that we have currently are all going to be spread out all throughout the Coast Guard in the next couple of years. So though I would love to say that we're better than any other air station, because again, you know, that's where my heart's at. No, I think that really the awards don't necessarily, I would say, belong to Air Station Cape Cod. They really belong to Coast Guard aviation in general. I'm very thankful that we have just an absolutely astounding crews. They're they have the will, they have the willingness, they have this drive really to make a difference within their community. So that's I'm very thankful for the quality of the people that we have here.
Okay, well, pilots from Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod won HAI Salute to Excellence Pilot of the Year award last year, and then again this year. One of them was honored for recognizing a physiological issue in flight, preventing an accident, and the other was awarded or honored for a specific rescue. Can you talk with me about the men and women who fly for Air Station Cape Cod?
Of course. So the folks that we have, again, are really kind of out of the pool of the greater Coast Guard aviation talent of our workforce. We had, a lot of times with search and rescue, it's about being in the right place at the right time, and we had the right crews at the right place at the right time for both of these rescues. If I look at back to 2021, where Lieutenant Commander Rob McCabe won Pilot of the Year, he made a very wise and he was very astute in understanding what his environmental challenges were, and both of all what was going on the outside of the aircraft and also with inside of the cockpit. He was very, very smart. He saw that, he recognized that we work in an environment many times that folks are encouraged to avoid. At night, low to the ground, not great visibility, high stress environments where we know we have possible people in the water. We have one person in the back that has got hypothermia. So when you put all of those different conditions together, that in a way, we're asking our folks to work in almost like worst case scenario. They were great where they saw that worst case scenario. They kind of felt themselves not really acting and performing at their peak levels, and executed a maneuver that got them safe. That is an incredible, mature and very smart judgment in the operations of our aircraft. So, and if I look at Travis Christie's case, Lieutenant Commander Christie, they had, talk about a day that went from a normal Tuesday to a day that you won't ever forget. So he and his crew and another 860, along with some forces from Canada, came up to rescue 31 people off the Atlantic Destiny. They were well over 100 miles offshore, working in waves that were bigger than what we'd like to see them, and winds that were blowing harder than most folks would like to fly in. And they got 20 people, 31 people out of the water between all of the assets that were there, and brought them all home safely. It's a pretty incredible mission, and I think it really speaks to really what we demand out of our pilots, how seriously they take the training regimen, and how mature their decision making comes, and that really speaks to how they develop their crews, how they really manage the risk of a rescue to make sure the best outcome comes forward.
Well, that leads a great transition to one of the next awards. My perception of the Coast Guard is that historically crews have made every effort to conduct rescues in any weather conditions, sometimes resulting in their own losses. And more recently, it seems like the Coast Guard evaluates the risk and has empowered crews to halt a flight that might not end well. We honored one of your petty officers with our Land and Live Award this year, which recognizes an initiative to prevent or halt a flight when something just doesn't seem quite right and could end badly. Can you address that shift and how that message is being delivered to members of the Coast Guard?
Yeah, Dan, happy to. So you probably heard the old adage of you have to go out, but you don't necessarily have to come back. So thankfully, we have got a lot smarter with the way that we conduct our operations. We have recognized really where the risks are and where we can mitigate those risks. So, if I look at that case, there was something wrong with the aircraft when they took off. So so they recognized what that problem was. They took action on it, and made sure that all the crew was safe as they proceeded. The other great part about it also is our technology and the way that we communicate has also really increased. Our assets are more capable than they were in the past. Sensors have improved. So, gone are really the days of a compass, and a stopwatch where we kind of track how we're moving and a chart that could get wet and maybe we can't exactly see where we're going. So now we've got integrated systems that allow all the different assets to talk to one another. The communication between really us, the mariner, and the Coast Guard assets themselves have also improved, with the technology of EPIRBs and longer range radios. All of that stuff really helps to create a better picture of what's going on with that particular case. And also internally, if we've got one asset that goes down, our communication systems have improved, and now we are able to basically divert another asset to try to get out there and help that rescue. So yeah, lots of movement in really the risk mitigation of the case, how we best prosecute that case, and the communication that goes into the entire rescue.
Your safety department received our Salute to Excellence Award for safety this year. Please tell me about the role that safety plays at Air Station Cape Cod.
Our safety department is phenomenal. They have been continually recognized for their efforts, and I'm really, really proud of them. And what the safety department does so well is communicate, both internal to the air station and externally. So internally, they've really worked, and all of us have really worked to do this, is to create a culture where if something happens, you raise your hand, you say, this didn't go as I planned, this would be something that I think I could have done better, and we all learn from it. Developing that culture is vitally important to us. So it's really getting those stories out, not making folks feel that they have to hide from them. It's getting that information out so there are no secrets and everybody can learn from one another. The other side of that story too is communicating those lessons that we learn, is communicating those out to the fleet. We've got several of them, from mishaps where we might have dinged an aircraft with some type of different land-based like a ground support equipment, like a tug or a tow bar, something like that. There's also the messages of, hey, what, we found a problem with one of our fuel clamps, that we released a message out, and come to find out that this was not just an issue for our aircraft. This was an issue for fleet wide. So I really got to give a lot of kudos to our safety department for maintaining that culture of reporting internal to our unit, and also the communication for them outwards to the fleet to let everybody know what kind of the lessons that we've learned.
Well, Captain Potter, thank you for your time. On behalf of Helicopter Association International, please accept our congratulations to your obviously entire organization. It sounds like you have a stellar crew, and we look forward to hearing more about them in the future.
No, Dan, it's great. Thank you for all the recognition. It's organization like HAI that really helped to spread all the great things that our crews do, and we're grateful for all the stuff that you do on your side. So thank you much.
Thank you again. We'll now turn to the 2022 Salute to Excellence Safety Award, which is sponsored by BLR Aerospace. And we are joined by Safety Department. See, we get to start all over already. Now let's turn to the 2022 Salute to Excellence Safety Award, sponsored by BLR Aerospace. The recipient this year is the Safety Department for U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. And joining me today is for the representative. I think I need more coffee. I apologize for this, sir. We'll now turn to the 2022 Salute to Excellence Safety Award, sponsored by BLR Aerospace. That recipient this year is the Safety Department for U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. And representing the Safety Department today is Commander Brian Cudley, who is the Deputy Executive Officer for the Air Station. Welcome aboard, Commander.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning.
I think many people automatically associate the Coast Guard with safety, but I think most of that well-deserved recognition is more for the external work the Coast Guard does on behalf of the public. What role does safety play internally with the Coast Guard?
It plays a very integral role. We're taught from very early on in our training that safety is paramount in everything that we do. We are taught to manage risk, both operationally and personally, so that we can be ready to respond whenever needed.
Okay. Can you describe the safety culture at Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod? How does the station promote safety to its crews?
Sure. Three things I'd touch on with the safety culture here at Cape Cod. The reporting culture is phenomenal. The crew does a great job bringing minor issues to the attention of the safety department and the command, so that we can handle that at the lowest level and nip it in the butt real quick. So we do get a lot of safety reports from the crew, which is great. Also, we have a great learning culture. We're constantly reviewing mishaps. We do crew resource management training quarterly, maintenance resource management training quarterly. We're training the crew on operational hazards within our area of response. And we do mishap drills as well, so that we're prepared to respond to a major mishap, or even minor ones for that matter. And then lastly, we have a just culture here. We're not afraid to admit mistakes that we make, whether it's while we're flying or in the course of doing maintenance. We bring that to the attention of each other so that we can learn from our mistakes. And there's really no hesitation or fear of retribution there. So it's a great culture. And then as far as how we promote it, we're not shy about safety at all. So it's very much in your face. The command is very good about promoting safety, which is very important, that the crew understands from the top that safety is of utmost importance. And it's just part of every time we meet together, we're constantly harping on how important safety is, or good things that people did with regard to safety. So.
Okay, well, tell me about the safety training program there at Air Station Cape Cod, please.
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit already, but we do a lot of training, both quarterly and almost bi-weekly. We review mishaps that happen both in Coast Guard mishaps, maybe not even the airframes that we fly, but mishaps that have lessons learned that are applicable throughout the Coast Guard fleet. We also take a look at some civilian mishaps, because there's a lot of lessons learned from there. So we do training on mishaps. We have our crew resource management training and maintenance resource management. And then again, like I said, we have training for mishap drills. So what we'll do with that is we'll kind of have the traditional classroom training on, what mishaps are and how they can unfold and how to respond to them. And then we'll have a tabletop exercise. So we'll get everybody, the big players, together, and we'll just throw out a scenario and see how people respond to that. And we have a checklist that we go through, and then we'll actually mobilize once a year at least, and we'll do a full-scale mishap drill where we put an aircraft out somewhere. It could be at the air station, it could be out in the field, and we go and we mobilize the response crew to respond to that mishap, to gather evidence, and to start putting the pieces together on figuring out what happened and how we can learn from the mishap.
Do your safety issues and your findings stay internal at Air Station Cape Cod, or does the unit share the information with the rest of the Coast Guard?
The answer to that is yes. We do have a little bit of discretion with our mishaps. However, if there are important lessons learned, obviously we want to get that out to the fleet. So we do have channels where we can forward our mishap reports up to headquarters, and then they get published so that every Coast Guard unit in the fleet can see what happened in that mishap and the mishap report. As far as external to the service, we sometimes do share our mishap reports with other DoD entities, but they would need to request that.
Okay, the Coast Guard motto is Semper Paratus, or always prepared. How does your safety program affect your state of readiness?
I would say that our safety program really focuses on keeping our people safe and our aircrafts flying and safe so that we can respond when we're needed.
Okay, well, hey, let's go ahead and review the award video that was prepared in honor of the 2022 Safety Award. Let's go ahead and bring that up real quick.
Helicopter Association International proudly presents the Salute to Excellence Safety Award, sponsored by BLR Aerospace. This award recognizes outstanding contributions in the promotion of safety and safety awareness throughout the international helicopter community. Initiatives in the Safety Department at Air Station Cape Cod, the U.S. Coast Guard's only New England-based aviation unit, have not only increased safety at the air station, but have had far-reaching effects across the service branch as well. Historically, the Air Station's Safety Department has flagged potentially catastrophic aircraft malfunctions. Fostering a strong reporting culture, the department conducts in-depth analyses following unit mishaps. For instance, when erroneous radar altimeter readings were observed during practice night instrument approaches to water, the Safety Department investigated. It learned that the anomaly occurred around electromagnetic interference, or EMI, though solutions had been implemented to mitigate the effects of EMI. The experience of Cape Cod's crew proved the hazard hadn't been entirely eliminated. In response, the Air Station Cape Cod Safety Department led an effort to increase awareness about the issue across the entire Coast Guard rotary wing fleet. This invaluable exchange of information following a near-catastrophic mishap is one of many examples where sharing lessons learned and potential equipment vulnerabilities has sparked training and safety-related discussions within Coast Guard units across the country. The Cape Cod Air Station also strives to maintain a high state of readiness for potential mishaps by conducting frequent, realistic drills. The station uses a tiered approach to training that begins with traditional classroom-style presentations, progresses to a tabletop mishap exercise, and culminates in full-scale drills. The Safety Department extends its work beyond air operations to include the overall safety of all personnel. When trace amounts of hexavalent chromium were identified in rotary wing shop spaces, the department rapidly developed a plan to conduct in-house and contractor-led cleanings to address the problem. The Air Station's wealth of safety knowledge and experience also benefits neighboring aviation entities. Through a partnership with Cape Cod Gateway Airport, the Air Station's Safety Department served as both participants and evaluators during a triennial mass casualty incident drill. The drill brought together regional aviation partners and local first responders to enhance readiness for a potential major mishap. Please join the HAI Board of Directors in saluting the U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod Safety Department, recipient of the 2022 Salute to Excellence BLR Aerospace Safety Award.
Commander Cudley, I think that does a great job of explaining why Safety Department at U.S. Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod received the award this year. Please accept our congratulations. Please pass that along to your entire organization on behalf of HAI and BLR Aerospace.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Joining us now is the 2022 Salute to Excellence Land and Live Award winner. This award is sponsored by Helicopter Association International. The 2022 winner is Avionics Electrical Technician, Second Class Andrew Champagne from U.S. Coast Guard Station, Cape Cod. Welcome aboard, Andrew.
Thanks, Dan. Happy to be here.
And congratulations on your award. It's an interesting award, the first inaugural Land and Live Award. Congratulations.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's an honor to be the first.
How did you kind of join the Coast Guard?
I joined the Coast Guard in 2011, and I found it kind of through my career as an electrician. I was working down in Clearwater, Florida, and I got to see the Coast Guard 60 fly around and fly over, and I was like, man, that looks way cooler than what I'm doing right now. So I looked into it and figured out that they had electricians that work on helicopters and aircraft. So I decided that's what I'm going to go do. And about 6 years later, I was in the door as a flight mechanic working on H-60s.
Okay, so do all electricians fly an aircraft, or do you have to be a flight mechanic to do that?
You have kind of your basic aircrew qual. So you come in, go through training as an avionics technician or a mechanic, and then get to your unit, become basic aircrew qualified, and then takes a little bit longer after that to become a flight mechanic. And so it's kind of an extra duty that you have.
Well, and we'll get to this in your video in a few minutes, but how important is it for you to know your aircraft and the situation? Really become familiar with everything about it.
It's very important, and kind of our role as the flight mechanic is to kind of be that knower of your aircraft and maintenance. And spending time on the ground, fixing it and operating it and doing troubleshooting on systems really pays dividends when you get in the door and on those flights, and you can help troubleshoot in the plane.
Does the Coast Guard train you to report issues, or does that come from your command level, or maybe both?
Yeah, we have our safety department up at Air Station Cape Cod. They have done a great job kind of guiding us through reporting discrepancies and reporting safety events.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and watch your video. I'll share my screen here, and we will, then I've got at least one more question after that. We'll come back to you in just a second.
Helicopter Association International proudly presents the Matthew S. Zuccaro Land and Live Award, sponsored by HAI. This award recognizes outstanding aeronautical decision-making, crew resource management, and/or coordinated actions by a helicopter pilot, flight crew, and/or maintenance personnel during the year. Andrew Champagne joined the U.S. Coast Guard wanting to save lives. Since joining the service in 2011, the avionics electrical technician has done that and made a lasting impact on countless lives, including those of his own crew. When Andrew isn't maintaining the electrical systems on MH-60T Jayhawks at Air Station Cape Cod in Massachusetts, he serves as a flight mechanic on rescue operations, where he operates the hoist, communicating between the aircraft commander and the rescue swimmer. Early, before dawn on June 8, 2021, Andrew's rescue team was dispatched to help search for a person in the water more than 175 miles north in Booth Bay Harbor, Maine. Local conditions were IFR, with 300-foot ceilings and half a mile of visibility in mist. Due to the conditions, the crew filled all 3 external fuel tanks, a total of 5,800 pounds of fuel. Shortly after takeoff, Andrew noticed an abnormal vibration in his seat. After determining the cause wasn't his seat, he asked his crew if they felt the vibration. No one else did. Regardless, the aircraft commander asked Andrew if he wanted to abort the flight. Looking out the window, Andrew could barely see the runway lights. He knew the aircraft was close to the clouds. If they lost sight of the runway, they'd need to enter IFR procedures, extending the flight and flying over a dense urban area. He didn't hesitate. He called for the flight to abort and helped guide the aircraft commander back to the runway. Once they reached the hangar, Andrew found that the helicopter's left inboard fuel tank was loose. Loaded with 120 gallons of fuel, the tank could have easily come off in flight, landing over a populated area and possibly causing the aircraft to crash. Within 30 minutes, Andrew had resecured the tank and performed a full check of the aircraft. The crew was then able to relaunch the search. Thanks to Andrew's direction during takeoff, the crew averted a potential disaster. His decisive action to address a possible hazard and the culture of the U.S. Coast Guard to trust and follow any crew member's call to abort demonstrate the value of former HAI President Matt Zuccaro's Land and Live program. Please join the HAI Board of Directors in saluting Andrew Champagne, recipient of the 2022 Salute to Excellence Matthew S. Zuccaro Land and Live Award.
Let's start by saying congratulations. That was absolutely amazing. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about just a minute ago in the Win Your Aircraft. I mean, can you describe the vibration you felt?
Yeah, it was kind of a strange moment for me. Going through takeoff, the helicopter's vibrating quite a bit. So to feel that and kind of feel something off in that and make the call, it was very nerve-wracking for me at the moment. And making that call and not knowing if it was something or wasn't something, I just knew that we needed to get back to the maintenance and land.
Well, and that brings up the final question. What advice would you give, or do you give, to someone else who might be a flight mechanic or just an air crewman in the Coast Guard aircraft?
Well, I am an examiner for flight mechanics, and I'm actually down here in Mobile, Alabama at the training center teaching flight mechanics in a transition course right now, and teaching the new guys that, hey, we have a voice in the back, and our role is extremely important as CRM goes for the aircraft. So speak up if you hear something or see something, smell something. It doesn't matter what it is, or even if you're just not feeling well, land the helicopter and go back. We can always go fly another day.
Okay, well, Petty Officer Champagne, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on your award. It's obviously well deserved.
Thank you, Dan. And I'd like to thank Matt's family. I know they are missing him, and it's been an honor to receive this award for Matt.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This afternoon, we are joined by Lieutenant Commander Travis Christie of Coast Guard Air Station Cape Cod. And Lieutenant Commander Christie is our 2022 Salute to Excellence Pilot of the Year, as presented by Rotor Media. Lieutenant Commander Christie, welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
Hey, first of all, congratulations on the Pilot of the Year award. I know that we had a chance to talk in Dallas, but it certainly seems like a very well-deserved award.
Oh, I appreciate that. It was a crew effort from start to finish. So I just get to represent all the other folks that were involved in the rescue, whether it was in the aircraft with me or on deck here or in Canada.
We'll watch your video here in just a little while, but yes, I absolutely understand that the Coast Guard particularly and the military, everything is a team effort. You are constantly working with others to accomplish your tasks. So let's go ahead and get started. What came first? Did you want to be a pilot first, or did you want to join the Coast Guard first? What was the evolution of your career?
Honestly, I wanted to join the Coast Guard first. I'm not particularly fond of heights, so I think helicopter aviation came naturally to me because we get to stay much closer to the ground than our fixed wing brethren. But absolutely, joining the Coast Guard, a desire to help people. That's what really drew me into this service. And then the longer I kind of stayed in the service and realized the different opportunities that were available to an officer in the Coast Guard, the more I realized that aviation was absolutely the community that I wanted to be in. Not because the other ones don't get to make some meaningful impact as well, but because this one, you really, truly are in a unique position to help somebody out on their very worst day, and you get the positive side of being able to literally look over your shoulder as a pilot and see them coming out of that chaotic situation they were just in and into a position of relative safety.
Well, that's a great transition for my next question. My perception is that you guys are always ready to go, ready to take off and fly out on a rescue, or you're already out on a rescue. There's obviously a lot more that goes into preparing to do the missions you conduct. Can you walk me through an average day or an average week for your responsibilities there in Cape Cod?
Absolutely. Yes, sir. They say that luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and the Coast Guard's very big on preparing. So an average week for us, we're probably flying 3 or 4 different sorties over the course of that week. We're probably spending duty at least twice for a 24-hour period with a rotating crew. We'll go out and do a variety of different trainers to kind of practice the different skill sets that we might actually need on a rescue. And in many ways, depending on what the rescue effort is, it might actually be easier than some of the training we do. We try and push ourselves. There's a lot of type A personalities here that are always trying to hone their craft, be masters of their craft, and then encourage others to do the same. So every time we have an opportunity to fly, it's an opportunity to practice in a controlled environment what we might find when the SAR alarm goes off. So we really take it to heart and try and use every minute of flight time that we can so that we can become better at what we do.
Okay, obviously your nomination was written up to include a rescue that you conducted. Can you, I know we'll see the video in just a moment. Can you walk us through some of the particulars?
Yes, sir, absolutely. So the biggest case we had last year was the rescue of an international rescue effort that involved pulling 31 people from the doomed fishing vessel Atlantic Destiny. That vessel was 140 feet long, and it was foundering about 200 miles east of Air Station Cape Cod. So the closest point of land at the time was actually Nova Scotia, Canada, and the weather conditions were far less than ideal. The seas were reported as 8 to 10 meters, so somewhere in the 26 to 33 foot range, 40 knot sustained winds with gusts upwards of 60 knots. And oh, by the way, it all happened 200 miles offshore at night. So an incredibly challenging rescue effort to pull one person off, but to have 31 mariners that were in that situation on board that vessel, dead in the water. So it's just getting absolutely, tossed about at the mercy of the seas. I mean, I can't tell you what it's like to see something that size, to know that there are that many people aboard, and to just realize the magnitude of the challenge that lay ahead of everyone. And fortunately for us, we were able to send a fixed wing aircraft from Air Station Cape Cod. I was in one of our H-60 helicopters from Cape Cod. We had a second H-60 helicopter that was able to go out and respond. Our Canadian search and rescue partners were able to come out from the Royal Canadian Air Force, sending a C-130, as well as at least one and eventually two Cormorant helicopters. And then the Canadian Coast Guard was able to respond as well. So between all of those different assets from those different agencies, all 31 mariners were able to be safely extracted from that vessel before it sank hours later.
That's pretty impressive. And you folks, of course, don't do in-flight refueling. So it's just a matter of the fuel that you can get, say, in Nova Scotia and get out there and get back before you go dry.
Yes, sir. We can do some helicopter in-flight refueling, not in the way that kind of our Air Force counterparts can. We don't have the, we basically have to hoist a hose from a vessel that's nearby. So it's a little bit more challenging. We can't have an aerial refueling capability that gives us more flexibility. We have to be fortunate enough to have another vessel nearby that we can refuel from while it's still spinning in the air.
I learned something new today. Okay, well, tell you what, I've got one more question, but let's go ahead and watch your video first. So let's go ahead and run the video real quick.
Helicopter Association International proudly presents the Salute to Excellence Pilot of the Year Award, sponsored by Rotor Media. This award recognizes an outstanding single feat performed by a helicopter pilot during the year or extraordinary professionalism over a period of time. Lieutenant Commander Travis Christie joined the U.S. Coast Guard to help people. Since receiving his wings in 2013, the MH-60 pilot has helped save numerous lives at sea, inland, and in post-disaster support efforts. At 8 p.m. on March 2, 2021, a call came in to Travis's base, Air Station Cape Cod in Massachusetts. A 140-foot fishing vessel with 31 on board had caught fire and was taking on water more than 200 nautical miles east of Cape Cod. Facing darkness, freezing cloud layers, and turbulent winds, Travis set out for the disabled boat. The decision was made to evacuate most of its crew shortly after he arrived on scene. After a Royal Canadian Air Force helicopter hoisted 6 crew members, Travis maneuvered his helicopter to begin hoisting other survivors. Battling 40 to 60 knot winds and 33-foot waves, he and his crew rescued 8 people from the pitching vessel. With a full cabin, Travis departed and flew 125 miles through pockets of unidentified precipitation to Yarmouth International Airport in Nova Scotia, Canada, where the survivors were transferred to awaiting rescue personnel. Travis rose to the occasion again on May 30th, 2021, when he and his crew responded to rescue an injured skier at 4,000 feet on Mount Washington in New Hampshire. The skier had fallen 400 feet through a boulder field and suffered severe head trauma and a spinal injury. No other aircraft in the area could support the mission due to the high altitude location and poor visibility. Travis flew under an IFR flight plan to a regional airport near the mountain. From there, he identified a safe route and briefed his team on how they'd travel the remaining 20 nautical miles to the injured skier, including an inadvertent IMC plan. Once on scene, Travis used the aircraft's direction finder to pinpoint the skier's position. As the helicopter hovered near its maximum available power, Travis served as the safety pilot, while the patient was hoisted via litter. Once the skier was safely on board, Travis and crew transported the patient to Maine Medical Center. Travis was also instrumental in discovering and rescuing 8 people and 2 pets from a severely damaged beach hotel on Grand Isle, Louisiana in August 2021, while supporting rescue efforts in the wake of Hurricane Ida. Please join the HAI Board of Directors in saluting Travis Christie, recipient of the 2022 Salute to Excellence Pilot of the Year Award.
Okay, well, there obviously were several activities there that you were noted for. it doesn't seem like I know there's more risk mitigation factors in place now, but it doesn't seem like you ever get to fly in weather that other pilots would consider optimal. It looked like high winds at night, high seas. I don't think that's anybody's idea of great flying weather.
No, sir. No, the Coast Guard's got a different threshold for what's acceptable, and anything over 00 is a better day than our worst day. So,
okay. Well, that said, what advice would you give to somebody who might want to follow in your footsteps, who might want to fly, who is a Type A personality, might want to fly for the Coast Guard?
I would just say, come every day remembering that you never know when you're going to get called out for that case that's going to make or break your career. You don't know in advance when the SAR alarm is going to be something that is truly going to push you to your absolute limits, where you have to rely on every ounce, every millisecond of training that you've ever acquired in your entire career. It gets leveraged in that moment. So if you can show up and prepare for it every day and treat every single SAR launch, every single training opportunity as if that's your last chance before you get the case of a lifetime, when that alarm goes off and it is the big one, you'll be ready for it. I can guarantee that if you don't do that and you kind of sit back and you decide to coast, or you wait until the actual one is going to happen, you're going to be too late. You're going to be behind the curve, and there won't be enough time. You won't have enough bandwidth to spool up to your potential. You always have to be ready to reach peak performance.
Okay, Commander Christie, congratulations on the award once again. And on behalf of HAI, we wish you sincerest best wishes for your career as you move forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan. It was a pleasure to be here with you.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I think you now probably have a really good understanding of why the selection committee for our awards chose these three recipients for the Salute to Excellence Awards for 2022. Very noteworthy candidates, very noteworthy recipients. And so we are pleased to congratulate them once again for their awards. Let's start wrapping things up for this week and take a look what's coming up soon. Let me share my screen here. Next week, we will have a conversation with John and Martha King. So now if you've been flying in the rotor industry or fixed wing industry for a length of time, you're probably familiar with the videos from John and Martha helping you to understand flight training. They have been around for a significant amount of time, and we're going to have just a really great conversation with them. Joining them will be our 2022 Salute to Excellence Flight Instructor of the Year, Scott Tennyson of the Boeing Company. And we just thought that was a good combination to bring together for next week's webinar. You will be receiving a survey here very shortly. We do ask that you spend just a couple of minutes responding to that. It helps us to understand what you thought of the webinar series or think of it. And very importantly, what topics you would like us to see us address. That's something that we're always looking for, is finding out what you want to see. We'll do our best to get those topics presented for you. Equally, if there's something HAI can do for you to help the industry, let us know. Jim Viola receives all these emails at president@rotor.org, shares them with the staff for tasking. We're always looking to know how HAI can help improve your business, help improve your role within the industry. There's got to be different things that we can do for you. That does conclude the webinar for this week. We do appreciate that you took time out of your very busy schedule to watch. We do look forward to having you joining us again very, very soon.